Fast forward in income our channel so how AG Politics Avenue. Podcast stars training because big headlines. And a jumbre need to be exomo. Our hanidium young roximo, niam structure young queen simo. Ye queen simo. And then as a Wontumi a pim our court, Wontumi amba. There's a breachy a year court, I can't say. A contempt of court anya asem koto akra na legal practitioners ahodo etimi attract omo april the dire consequence of Wontumi failure to report to court without permission. We need for Honswa in some a court so our court with regards to these proceedings no omu ajimra omu ebo imchiremu. At this point in time yen semre ebobo rem ne ahwe ne call any day eba ha GH Politics Avenue. But that's why ajimra ewo ha yenko yinsimu.
The Accra High Court has rescinded a bench warrant which was issued for the arrest of the NPP Ashanti Regional Chairman Bernard Nchibwesiaku for failing to show up during the hearing of his case. Lawyers for Chairman Wontumi and the Apiekubi explained to the judge that he was to blame for the miscommunication to his client on the time for hearing of the case. Chairman Wontumi has pleaded not guilty to charges of assignment of mineral rights without approval and purposely facilitating an unlicensed mining operation. He is on a 15 million cedis bill with 3 sureties. Let's go on the phone and speak to my colleague, Lord Idwasawe, who has been joining proceedings in court. Lord, talk to us about proceedings in court today.
Right, Grace. And so today we're expecting the case management conference to occur, but when the prosecution got in, they noticed the absence of Chairman Wontumi and then his lawyer and the Apiekubi. And so they actually asked the court that they had observed that Wontumi and his lawyer were absent. But at that point, the presiding judge told them that they should mind their business and then talk about the business of the day. And then they went ahead to explain that on their side, they haven't been able to proceed with filing with their disclosures and finishing what they need to do because one of their witnesses who is supposed to have signed his witness statement is out of the jurisdiction, and so they haven't been able to do that. And so the judge told them to make sure they do that before the next agenda date. At that point, then the judge indicated that Chairman Wontumi and his lawyers have absented themselves from the court without notifying the court as to whatever reason it was for which they weren't able to make it to court. And so he issued a bench warrant for his arrest. Now, after adjourning the case, shortly after the case was stood or the case was done and adjourned, Wontumi and his lawyer walked in. And so after a while, when they walked in, the judge was actually in chambers. After a while, she came out, and then lead counsel for Chairman Wontumi and the Apiekubi indicated to the court that he first apologized and indicated that it was his fault, for which reason Chairman Wontumi could not be present in court because he told Wontumi that the case was at 9. But the judge indicated that because at the last time they were in court, he was granted bail and no particular time was given for the case to be heard, she was expecting them to be in court by 9 a.m. because that's the time that normally court sittings begin. And that was the reason why the bench warrant was issued. But after listening to the apology and explanations given by Chairman Wontumi's lawyer, the presiding judge, Audrey Kokuvite, rescinded the bench warrant that she had earlier issued and then added some orders and a warning, in fact, that he should make sure that he is present in court at all times with or without his lawyer because he's the accused person and it's not a lawyer who is the accused person because he's a person of interest here. And so that's what basically happened in court today. And so we are back in court on November 4 for the continuation of this matter. Hopefully this amount Wontumi will not be late and things will proceed as usual.
And so that means whether your lawyer is available or not, as accused person, you should be in court. What does this mean to the next phase of the hearing?
Well, basically, next time we're in court, the prosecution, after explaining that they couldn't get their witness to file the witness statement, they are hoping that by the next time we are in court, they should have finished with this and their prosecution witness should be back in the jurisdiction or found one way or the other to sign this document. When this is done, then the case would proceed from there, because during the case management conference, we'll get to know how the case will proceed, how many witnesses the prosecution will call, and all that. So when we are back in court, we'll get to find out all that. For now, Wontumi, it's free in quotes because there's no bench warrant on his head.
Right. Lord, thank you for those updates. My colleague, Lord Idwasari, bringing us updates on the Wontumi case. Away from Wontumi, let's talk about Ghana's legal tender, which is the cedi, because Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Isiama, says the cedi's recent stability is the result of hard choices and robust policies. According to him, the currency has turned a decisive corner, appreciating by 37% as of October, making it the best performing currency in Sub-Saharan Africa. The cedi, the country's legal tender, turned 60 years on Friday, July 19, 2025, since its issuance as a medium of exchange, marking a significant milestone in Ghana's post-independence economic journey. Governor Isiama was speaking at the launch of the celebration of the Ghana cedi at 60.
Under the leadership of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and Her Excellency the Vice President, and through coordinated, difficult but necessary policy actions, I'm happy to say that Ghana has turned a decisive corner. And indeed, the evidence is compelling. Headline inflation is now at 9.4% as of September 2025, and we expect it to end the year even far lower. The cedi has appreciated by 37% as at October 17, and according to the World Bank, it is the best performing currency in Sub-Saharan Africa for the first 8 months of 2025.
Governor of the Bank of Ghana there. Meanwhile, Finance Minister Dr. Kasia Latte-Forcing has reaffirmed that the Ghanaian cedi remains the only legal tender, cautioning businesses against pricing goods and services in foreign currencies.
We must be eschewing the act that seeks to undermine the value of the currency, particularly the pricing of goods and services in foreign currency, the US dollar. Let me use this opportunity to once again stress that, as Ghanaians, the Ghana cedi remains the only legal tender. The US dollar is not our currency. The cedi is our only currency. Continuous pricing of goods and services in US dollars will only hurt us. Let's stop it, and let us stop it now. The cedi is the only currency we have. Let us protect it. Let us trade with it, and let us defend it with all vim within us. Let us talk about the cedi with pride, not as a burden, but always as a badge of economic independence. As we celebrate 60 years of the cedi, let us rededicate ourselves to the call to help build the Ghana we want.
Finance Minister Dr. Kasia Latte-Forcing there. Well, as Ghana celebrates the cedi at 60, my colleague Evelyn Tengma takes a look back at the journey of Ghana's currency over the decades. There's more in this report.
Before Ghana gained independence in 1957, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Gold Coast, now Ghana.
As live as we even bring you this stream, let's go to Parliament now, because the minority there says the Attorney General is repeatedly violating constitutional provisions through his rampant trial of suspects in the public, through press conferences and at the Government Accountability Series. According to the legal counsel of the minority, an MP for Swami, John Dako, the Attorney General is tainting judges because they go to court with prejudiced minds due to a stable of suspects as guilty. John Dako says Dr. Dominic Ayene is engaging in populism and biased press trials. Well, working the phone to speak to my colleague Christian Yale, who is at the presser. But let's listen to what the minority has been saying.
Has violated a very core constitutional provision in our criminal article 19(2)(c). This particular provision is about fair trial, has prejudiced this all-important constitutional provision. Under the guise of the so-called accountability series, violated the privacy rights of persons involved. Since assuming office as the Attorney General, the Honourable Dr. Dominic Ayene.
John Dako's legal counsel told the minority and MP for Swami they are accusing the Attorney General for prejudicing some cases because of his utterances at the accountability series and other editions. Let's go up north because lifeless body of a 41-year-old canoe operator identified as Razak, who drowned in White Volta River at Addo, has been retrieved after 2 days of search. On Monday, October 27, Razak, who was operating a canoe and crossing with passengers, fell into the river, leaving the passengers on board the canoe in the middle of the river. Even though the passengers managed to paddle themselves to safety, the canoe operator was not found. A search party was immediately deployed by the Canoe Operators Association. Let's get more on this from my colleague Christopher Makon, because the story comes barely a week after he reported on the dangers of traveling on the Volta Lake without life jackets. Christopher, if you can hear me, bring us up to speed on the latest on this development.
Yes, so Grace, I can confirm to you that the lifeless body has just been moved to the family house of the deceased. Preparations are underway for his burial. Now, this happened barely a week after we reported on the safety concerns of people who travel from Daboya to Tamale and vice versa to transact their daily activities. They do so without life jackets. In fact, as at the time of visit, the life jackets that were at the riverbank were not up to 10. And so it is only people who are perceived to be VIPs who were given these life jackets to use when they were crossing. And the other hundreds, if not thousands, of people who cross on daily basis to and fro do so without life jackets, putting some level of threat on their life. And so, unfortunately, yesterday, the canoe operator who was transporting some of the passengers across one end to the other fell into the river. And you know that at this time the river has overflown its boundaries, and the pressure is also very severe. And so he could not save himself, even though the people around there told us that he could swim. But unfortunately, this morning, his lifeless body was found.
Christopher, has there been any attempt to supply life jackets to these passengers? Because this remains one of the most common means of transportation in these areas.
In fact, it is a major source of means of transportation for the people within that area, because the other alternative route, the road is very terrible, and it's also far. So people resort to using the short means. And so the district chief executive actually last week when we spoke with him indicated that plans are far advanced for them to procure some life jackets to be distributed to them, but that is yet to see the light of day. Now, one other thing has to do with the fact that he's also raised some concerns that even when they bring them, the passengers do not want to put them on when they are crossing. And so
why don't they want to put it on?
Yes, because they say that they have been using that river over and over again, and they have not. They are safe, and so they don't also feel comfortable putting on the life jackets. And so, Grace, this has to do with enforcement. So the district chief executive has actually indicated that when they get some, they're going to ensure that they enforce the use of the life jackets. We know that somewhere April 2024, Ecozoel donated about 200 life jackets to the community. Yes, unfortunately, after the time we visited last week, less than 10 of these life jackets were available.
All right, Christopher, thank you for bringing us that update. Christopher Marco, my colleague, with the update on that incident on the White Volta. Let's go to the Ashanti region, because the legal battle over who is the only surviving spouse of the late iconic singer Daddy Lumba returned to the Kumasi High Court today. My colleague Ibrahim Abubakar monitored proceedings and joins us with the latest. Ibrahim, talk to us. What happened in court today? Has the case been brought to finality? The last time the judge told them to go and do out-of-court settlement. What's the latest on it?
Well, Grace, as I speak to you just some few minutes ago, the case was called. So as I speak, both parties, then their representatives have entered in the courtroom. So we are yet to know what they have decided on. Like you rightly mentioned, and the last time we came to court, the High Court judge, Dorinda Smith, asked the parties to go and make sure they settle it out of court. But it appears the litigation will go on, even though we are yet to hear what the final issue will be like. But this morning, I could see that both legal representatives of both parties came with sums of documents, large heaps of documents to prove their case. We were even told that even before today, the Menchia Palace had even intervened, called the two parties, just so they will be able to resolve this issue and ensure that it doesn't even interrupt the funeral date, which is 6th December. So we are yet to hear what the outcome will be today.
But what is the mood like in court?
Well, I can tell you that the case has generated a lot of interest. Supporters and sympathizers of both parties are in court, a lot of them, a lot of bloggers, and the whole court premises is full by these people. People are anxiously, keenly waiting for what the outcome will be. Everybody is hoping that his or her preferred person will be the ultimate winner. But we have others who are wishing that at least we should allow both women to perform the widowhood right, and that will bring finality to the matter.
All right, Ibrahim, thank you for the update. Ibrahim Abubakar bringing us updates on the Tadilumba court case. The two wives, who is their rightful widow, the court will decide hopefully by close of day. The Executive Secretary of the National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons, Dr. Adam Bona, says the nationwide gun amnesty will begin on November 11 and end on December 31. The government of Ghana, through the Ministry of Interior and the Small Arms Commission, announced an initiative to curb the rising spread of illicit firearms and growing sun-related violence across the country. Under the amnesty, anyone in possession of an unregistered or illegal weapon can surrender it to the security agencies without arrest, interrogation, or prosecution. Speaking on TV3's New Day, Dr. Bona warned that individuals found with unlicensed weapons after the amnesty period will face imprisonment.
We should all be ready. The amnesty is coming from the 11th. Minister will do a declaration. Honorable Minister will do a declaration. The modalities will be set out. Please, if you know someone who has a weapon somewhere, you can begin to call us. Begin to call us to give us information. Your information would not be shared with anybody. Share the information with us. Once you give us information, believe you me, we would go in at the right time to pick it, or we can go in now to pick the weapons. And so just let us know. And we don't need guns in this country.
We and some who team course watch and so Mamma so Jim Red, as an so body in the Edomania. Ibasamba realm, Neasuma Consum Sukra, a GH Politics Avenue.